Hello, we're Group H and we're covering bases of power under organizational behavior. What does power come from? Basis of power is a fundamental framework to how individuals and groups within an organization can be influenced. There are two categories under basis of power: formal power and personal power. Formal power is based on an individual's position in an organization. Personal power derives from an individual's unique characteristics. Under formal power, we have rewards, coercive, and legitimate power. The definition of rewards power is when an individual are influenced from being offered desirable monetary rewards, such as a bonus, pay rates, raises, or non-monetary, such as extra time off, recognitions, promotions, or preferred work shifts. Let's take, for example, I'm a manager of a team of scientists working on an important project with tight deadlines, and they have been working long hours to meet expectations. There are ways to reward the team if they meet or exceed expectations. I've set with a monetary bonus or a non-monetary reward where the team will receive extra time off. From there, the distinguished individuals will be offered training and development opportunities to potentially advance their career within the company.
Now, let's talk about coercive power. Coercive power is a type of power that supervisor, leads, or management use to get the outcome they want in an organization. They use force, threats, fear, or any other negative structure towards their employees. In this case, they use coercive power to get the objective they want, regardless of how they obtain it. In this scenario, I'm a supervisor, and I notice that for almost a month, the outcome has decreased and not meeting the goal. I schedule a meeting with my team and let them know that if I don't see an improvement in meeting the daily goal, there'll be consequences such as pay cuts, termination, and even layoffs.
Legitimate power is the authority or influence an individual holds within an organization. This type of power is often granted to individuals based on their positions, titles, or role within the organization, and is not necessarily based on the individual's personal qualities or skills. Legitimate power allows for an individual to make authoritative decisions and provide instructions to their subordinates. Not all examples of legitimate power include being a supervisor or manager within a company. One good example of this would be being a police officer. If I were a police officer and I pulled you over for violating the law, you would most likely follow my instructions, asking for your license and registration without asking many questions. This is due to me having legitimate power as a law enforcement officer in uniform that influenced you to obey my instructions.
Next, we will discuss reference power and expert power.
Referent power is the ability of a leader or boss to influence an employee or person through respect, admiration, charisma, or identifying with the leader. Leaders with a strong referent power can influence their followers based on personal attributes and reputation rather than relying on authority or position. I can relate this power with my boss, who instead of demanding or imposing, he listened and take in consideration our point of view. He also builds a great relationship with all the employees, and his empathy, compassion made us trust him.
Last but not least is the definition of expert of power, which is the ability to influence others based on a special knowledge or skill you may possess. A common example of this would be a lawyer that we look to for legal issues or questions. The example I came up with would be you're a new client who's looking for a tax professional to file your taxes and get you the lowest tax deduction possible. Instead of going with your friend who's been filing her own taxes for the last 5 years, you choose a stranger that you met at a coffee shop who has 15 years of experience filing taxes and a license in the finance industry.
Understanding and effectively using these 5 bases of power can be crucial in interpersonal relationships, leadership, and decision-making in the social interactions we encounter in our everyday lives. By understanding how to use these bases of power effectively, we can use them to encourage positive and productive interactions.